Hey, what's up? It's Jake. Happy 4th of July. Over the years, I have found myself taking it for granted that we have a country of our own and that we live a certain way of life. I know that it's not the same for everyone in America. Everyone has a different experience. If you're not white and male, you probably don't quite have the same warm fuzzy feeling about America as you might if if you were. But I think, like I said, I take it for granted that our nation exists, and I think a lot of us probably look back and think that it was somehow easy to create what we have, to create America. And even though it's imperfect, it's still a heck of an accomplishment. I probably can't even name like 100 people who I could count on to join together with me, let alone think of a way to galvanize an entire nation of people behind one cause. The fact that the founders were able to organize and energize an entire colony to overthrow the government and build something of their own is no small feat. Think of our politicians today. Think of our leaders. I don't know that there's a single one right now who could lead a charge like that, who would have the wherewithal to put his or her neck on the line to challenge the government, to challenge the state, to try to forge a path to something new. And even if one politician wanted to and was willing to, I don't know if anyone would take it seriously. I don't know if anyone would actually get behind them. I don't know if anyone would be willing to sacrifice their lives to fight for those principles and fight to make something new. It's easy to get on Facebook or Twitter and send out a bunch of brave messages about fighting the government or talking about the corruption and name-calling the president, things like that. It's all so easy to do that. But if that's all we're willing to do when we feel we're being trampled, then we're never going to change anything. And when I say we, I just mean Americans in general. I don't have any delusions that I'm in the same boat as a lot of Americans who feel disenfranchised and unappreciated. One of the biggest reasons this nation was created was because of the notion that we were being taxed without having representation in the government, because England was controlling us and they were taxing us, but they weren't allowing us to send representatives to the government to talk about Americans' issues. I think there are a lot of Americans right now who feel like they're being taxed or in many ways victimized, and they aren't being represented. They feel like maybe the justice system is failing them. Maybe the legislative system is failing them. Maybe the court of public opinion is failing them. But are they willing to band together and take up arms against the tyranny that they believe is inherent in the system? I don't know. And there are people like me around the country who are certainly sympathetic to their plight. You know, I am for gay rights. I'm for black rights. You know, I think that the world will be a better place when finally everyone looks the same, and it doesn't matter to me what your sexual orientation is. If you're a good person, you're a good person, and I can get along with everyone. But I don't know that I'm in a position to sacrifice my life or my family's lives to fight for these principles that I do believe. And I think that's a major issue with the problems that we all can acknowledge today. It's not that we don't see the problems. It's not that we don't acknowledge them. It's not that we aren't willing to speak out and say that there's an issue and say that we want change. But I think that the people in power are smart enough to know the same thing that I just said, which is that very few people are willing to turn the world upside down to change those policies. As much as I appreciate the efforts of Americans to try to band together, to try to organize, to try to demonstrate, standing in the middle of a freeway or marching in a city street is not going to have the same effect as taking up arms and fighting against the government. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily the answer, but every revolution has had bloodshed, and we should at least take a minute to appreciate the sacrifices that were made in order to create the nation that we have right now, because it wasn't easy.